All right, everybody, welcome to Teaching Crypto, AZ Crypto, Mr. FOMO. There are there is blood in the streets, but we are here for you. Please hit that like, that subscribe bell notification. I know what you're thinking. You guys said February would be green. What the hell is going on? Well, we're going to explain that. Yes, we are still bullish, but maybe with a lowercase b instead of a capital B, depending how the next 48 to 72 hours go. Mr. FOMO, how are you doing on what was an unprecedented liquidation event in crypto? We saw Bitcoin fall all the way down to the 90K range. We'd be lying if we told you, we knew tariffs were probably coming, but I think we'd be lying if we told you we knew it was going to hit so quickly and have such an adverse effect on global markets. And, whether we want to admit it or not, Bitcoin is unfortunately still tied to those global markets here.
Yeah, who knew trade wars were coming? As far as the crypto price, honestly, it didn't bother me that much. I'm honestly looking around for things to buy.
And we'll give you some of our picks today. Don't leave.
This I've treated as a bit of a gift. Bitcoin dropping down to 94. The alts look like they're in an accumulation phase, a Wyckoff accumulation, and I can show that real quick. Well, we can talk about. I'll just show what a Wyckoff accumulation is. And so, if you look at pretty much any alt chart, it looks like we're in phase C of a Wyckoff accumulation, and so. This is something that I found on Twitter yesterday, and I started looking at some of the charts and looking at some of the alts, and they all do kind of fall into this pattern and look like they are in phase C of a Wyckoff accumulation. So whether or not this is about to explode is another thing, but it looks like we're right in this area and about to pop off, knowing what has happened in February in bull runs past. But trade wars are a whole new avenue for us. And so I'm worried that this is going to dampen the effects of what would have been a nice bull run.
I still think we're getting a bull run. Had this narrative not happened, I think we'd be holding well above 100K right now, and you wouldn't have this dramatic discount on alts. So it could be good for you right now if you act. But do I think we're completely out of the weeds? We could still see some downward action in the next 24 hours based on the news cycle. You just don't know what's coming next. But I don't think Bitcoin topped off at 109K. I do not believe that. However, just gotta, pay attention to what's happening around the world. To pretend that doesn't affect Bitcoin, I think is naive. In the long run, yes, Bitcoin will always be fine. But right now, a lot of things are happening. Now, we're going to give our two best picks for the month of February. You might think we're crazy, but we still think February is going to end up green. And I'm going to give mine first. Now, I had XRP on the list, but here's the problem. XRP just got destroyed so quickly, it recovered too fast. We went to 178 yesterday, Mr. FOMO. We're already back to 234. So honestly, there's better deals out there. But I mean, you got XRP at 178. Congratulations. I think you probably did get the bottom there. But I'm going to give one, and people are going to laugh. But here we go. Okay, I know. If you've been an ETH holder, it has not been fun. But here's the thing. We can hold 2,700. And I don't know if I agree about the 7,000 pump. But again, for me, ETH in this cycle was always about a 5 to 10K run. And I still think very, very, very not only possible, but likely. Okay. And so here we go with ETH. And Mr. FOMO, what are your thoughts here on my people watching the show? Hopefully you don't turn it off. Hit that like and subscribe button because we're angry with ETH, but I don't think ETH is dead. I still think it has a run in this bull run. And here, I just think you're getting great value. That's what I believe right now. The price it's at, I really believe that ETH is going to recover. You're getting it under 2,600 today. I worst case, this goes back to 4K, worst case. And so there's value right there, you just made some money. But I'm still looking at, for me personally, taking profits around the 6K range. I mean, I'm still thinking 10K is in play, but for me, this chart is showing a accumulation phase and a pump up to 7K. For me, my number is 6K. What are your thoughts, Mr. FOMO?
I think there's great value here. That's the important thing is it's dropped now and we're sitting in a spot where it's a good buy zone, or at least we were in the last 24 hours. But my problem with ETH is that I feel like Solana has sort of stolen its thunder in this bull run. And I would rather have Solana, to be honest with you. But I think there's great value here. I think that's the important thing that you pointed out is that at this point this is a good buying range for ETH. I don't know if I agree so much anymore that it's going to make a run to 10K. Like I said, I feel like other coins are stealing its thunder and it's kind of falling to the wayside, or it's kind of becoming old news. Even though, I mean, outside of
Well, a lot of the ecosystem, most of the tokens, though,
I don't want to
most
poo-poo it too much.
most of the tokens, though, are still ERC tokens, though. You got to be careful.
Right.
Yeah, and so on-chain activity, yes, Solana has it is the meme coin paradise, but most of the projects that have quote utility, and whether that exists or not is a whole nother show, are still on ETH. And look, the people behind the scenes, BlackRock, this administration in the United States has been accumulating ETH for the past few weeks. They have. That's a fact. I don't think they're doing that just by accident. I don't think BlackRock is buying hundreds of millions of ETH just for fun, just for s and giggles, as they would say. So I think there is a place for ETH here. Is it the monster it used to be? Maybe not, but unless we topped off at 109, I can't anticipate 2,500 is not a great buy today. Do your own research.
Yeah, and that's what I would agree. This is great value at this point.
Now, give us one of your picks to click, if you don't mind, for the month of February.
All right.
Let me. You got some interesting ones for us.
Share my screen. The first one I've got for you is one of the darlings of the last bull run, and that is Avalanche. And I've got it on the 30-day chart because I wanted it to line up sort of in that Wyckoff accumulation. And so that's what I was talking about on the 30-day chart. A lot of these alts look like they're in accumulation phases. Anyway, Avalanche recently, aside from being a good risk to reward ratio because it's a big cap, Avalanche recently went through the Avalanche 9000 upgrade in December, and that reduced fees for all on-chain users by 75%. And as a result of that, they saw a surge in transactions of about 38% that's been sustained since then. So those are numbers that you can really get behind as far as adoption, as far as what you would look for if you were in a traditional market. You know, this is real use case. People are actually using it, and they're lowering the cost for the users, excuse me, and improving efficiency at the same time. And so I'm going to go with Avalanche. And when I picked this was at 30. So I think it's a great value at 25. This is when I was looking at it yesterday. So I think it's a great value at 25. And I can see, I know everybody wants me to make a prediction, but I don't really like doing that. So as far as Crypto X is concerned, or Crypto Twitter, they consider this to be a safe 2X. If you look around on Crypto Twitter. And I would happen to agree with that. I would say by the time this gets up, I'd say this might be over 50.
Well, what about all-time highs during the last bull run, right? All-time high for Avalanche, Mr. FOMO, was much higher. I mean, you're talking about way more than a 2X, right? So I like it. I like it a lot. It's one of those forgotten projects. All-time high was 147.50. You're getting it at 25.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this year alone, we were at 65. So yeah, again, this is, still one of the top tokens. It is a 10.3 billion market cap, but what I like, Mr. FOMO, right now the circulating supply is only 411 million tokens. Not perfect by any means, but that's good. That's good for a project that's, got a lot of.
Circulating, their total supply, I'm not crazy about. That is one of the drawbacks of the
Yeah.
tokens
Well,
that I
it's
picked is that
down.
their total supplies are very high.
It's down 38% this month. So it was at 45. I like Avalanche here. I think this is one of the big boys that could bounce back fast in February. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me at all if in 2 weeks you're looking at a $50 Avalanche at all. So I love because we're not just talking about things that are going to do well. We're talking about things that are going to do well quickly, right? Because then you can take that capital and put it into something else that still hasn't pumped. And
Right.
that's the game. Remember, you don't want to be married to these tokens. We're not telling you to hold on to these tokens for months and months. Like for me, for ETH, if I get a 6K, I'm gone, baby. I'm not waiting
And that's
around to see if 10K happens.
and
So
that's
with
something that
Avalanche,
I've
yeah.
talked about before is you can use the metrics on some of these trading platforms like Coinbase. Coinbase has some great metrics where they tell you how long the average holder is holding some of these coins. And some of these coins are being held for less than a week. I mean, obviously, your big boys like Bitcoin and ETH and those ones are being held for hundreds of days, if not years on average. But when you talk about some of these lower tokens, you're talking about sometimes days. And so take that in mind when you're buying these and holding these, that you don't need to be married to these like AZ says.
We will see. We will see. And let's let it play out and see what happens. Um, right now it's not having a good effect on global markets, but what it does, we're going to find out. You don't want AZ Crypto to go on a rant about the government right now
Yeah,
and
we
all the
do.
stuff that's happened over the last 20 years. That's a whole different program. We'll save that for another day. We'll see what happens. That's all I'm going to say. Uh, could be good, could be bad, could be in between. But I want to focus right now on what we can do to profit from this situation. So show us our second pick, Mr. FOMO.
Well, this is your turn now for your
Well,
second pick.
yeah. Oh, I apologize, but pull it up is what I meant to say. Here we
Oh,
go.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. H bar. Okay. H bar. US made crypto. Now, unfortunately, it would have been better for us to do this show when it hit 18 cents yesterday. So I was reluctant to pick this because it's bounced back already. But you see, the tokens that have bounced back the quickest have already been HBAR and and obviously XRP, right? I
Mhm.
I didn't go with XRP because it bounced back even better than HBAR did. But you see the tokens that are bouncing back the quickest. That gives you a clue about who's who's gonna go pretty far in February. All right, so H bar this year was at 40 cents. You can still get it today at 23 cents. I would love to get it at 18. Unfortunately, didn't was preoccupied, but at 23, that's a great value. Now, a couple things to know about H bar. It was one of our favorites in the last bull run, but they really struggled for PR. That was one of their biggest problems. They didn't capture the attention of the regular crypto person, and that does matter, right? Definitely social media and getting people hyped matters. Uh, All-time high is 45 cents, but this year we've seen 40. Now it is 8 billion in market cap, but I do think this could be a healthy 4x during this bull run. For February, I could easily see this getting back to 40 cents. 35 kind of is like where I'm like, okay, worst case, unless there's no recovery, you're talking about 30 cents here. But again, this thing could easily almost get a 2x here in the next 3 to 4 weeks if we do get a regular recovery and get back over 100 and maintain that. So I like this a lot. What do I think the all-time high for H bar will be during this cycle? I think between 80 and 90 cents. So from here, still great value. Would have loved it at 18. I think this one's going to have a huge narrative. It is a U.S. project, and it was criticized a lot in the last bull run for not being true crypto, for not being truly decentralized. But to be honest with you, with crypto's changed, right? Yeah. But who controls crypto right now? BlackRock and corporations. And they love projects like this because they can talk to the people behind it. So that alone, and it's American-based crypto, I think HBAR will do very, very well here in the next few months, especially February.
I like HBAR because it is unique. It stands out because it's a hash graph. It's not blockchain necessarily. And so when you talk about things you want to put in your portfolio, something that is this unique and that stands out this much in the crowd, I think would be something to consider, especially with their links. I think I remember some headlines linking them to the U.S. government and to what they want to do, or at least some of the one of the tokens that they wanted to purchase. But I'm not really certain on that. But yeah, this is one that I think is unique enough that you want to have it, at least have your eye on it over the next month or so, and over the bull run, really.
All right, Mr. Fromo, you got our big last pick to click for February. Go ahead and share.
All right, let me get this screen up. And here we are with Arkham. Now, Arkham is a blockchain analysis platform. They use AI to analyze the blockchain. And what they seek to do is de-anonymize the blockchain and on-chain data. Basically, they seek to apply names to the pseudo-anonymous addresses that are on-chain. And at first glance, I'm not sure that I'm crazy about this idea, because I don't want my information tracked, and I don't want my name put in their database to have my trades and all my my crypto tracked. But when it comes to catching criminals, tracking stolen funds, IDing fraudsters, investigating hacks, things like that, when it comes to legitimizing crypto and mass adoption, this kind of stuff is going to be important. And I don't think that what they're seeking to do is just ID, random people like me or you. What they're seeking to do is to stop some of these crimes that are being committed with crypto, and by using the on-chain data that they can, and they even have bounties and other weird things that they use to.
Hey, Mr. FOMO, refresh that browser of yours. We've had a price. Oh, it's interesting. Yeah, there we go. There we go.
Oh, there we go.
The price, you had it at 90. It's gone down to even a better value. So that just proves your point. You're getting at a huge value there. You had it at 90 cents. It's now at 74 cents. Here's the thing. Market cap, 167 million. So if you're new, the lower the market cap, the less funds it takes for things to go back up. So I love that. All-time high is $3.11. And guess what? It was at $3.11 earlier this year. This month, $1.76. I mean, I'm taking a look at this myself. It's easy to get. It's on all the exchanges. It's only 167 million. Circulating supply right now is only 225 million. That's 23% of the total supply. The all-time high was March of 2024, and that was almost a year ago at 312. Again, if we do have a traditional bull run, this thing could go between $4 and $5. So getting it at 74 cents, I can't see how you would go wrong. Do your own research. But I like this. It may not go back as quickly as HBAR does, some of the bigger ones.
That's the thing.
But it'll do very
drawbacks well. Is there is a high risk to reward ratio here, as you just saw in the last few minutes. But if you're talking about crypto X, if you're talking about crypto Twitter, they expect this to 10x during this bull run. And based on that market cap, I could see that being realistic. Also, like I was boring you with that lecture on legitimizing crypto and catching fraudsters and criminals in crypto. I think this is going to be important to legitimizing crypto. And as that goes, I think this project and its AI narrative are going to become more and more prominent as we go through this bull run.
So, Mr. Happy Metal Vegan, thank you much for sharing. Talks about the regular market. Here's the thing: I think crypto will bounce back faster than the regular market, I really do think that. Um, I think I think people are going to see. I think there's going to be some FOMO here once Bitcoin recovers, and I think you're going to traditionally February, March, after a halving, after an election, is when things really take off, especially February. So I get it in long term. You might want to play this in the regular stock market, but for now, I gotta say, I'm all in on Bitcoin and the tokens we've mentioned today. There's many others, but that's where I would put my energy in personally because the traditional market. Um, I don't know. Yes, there are things that are going to be fine, but we don't really know. We kind of know the narrative, unless the trade wars here that have started really are going to be long term problems. Bitcoin will recover, and so that's an interesting point by one of our viewers, Happy Metal Vegan, Mr. FOMO.
I think you're right. I think right now with all the things that are going on, you could play in any market and really make some money. Planes are crashing, trade wars. You've got wars, overseas. The markets hate that kind of uncertainty. Um, there's a lot of negativity going on right now. But as they say, when there's blood in the streets, that's when you should be buying, even when the blood is your own. So looking around and seeing the markets and seeing everything that's going on, absolutely. If you want to dabble in the traditional markets, absolutely do that because, like I said before, we're looking like an accumulation phase where you see some of these charts, like we have Arkham on the 30-day. I think that's the 30-day. That might be on the 24, but the 30-day. When these things bounce back, they're going to bounce back fast, and it's because of the quick downturn that
Not every token,
the
every
same thing
project.
is going to happen in the regular
I
markets.
just want to say this before we leave. Not every token, every project is going to bounce back immensely. Be careful
No.
out there. If you've bought a dog or a cat or a mouse coin, just know there are a million others like it. You might be done. I'm not trying to scare people, but if you bought a $2 million market cap token and we warned you, be careful. Don't invest more than you can lose. Those might be dead. You might have missed it. And that's the reality. It's not what you buy, it's when you buy it, but also the reality is there are millions of tokens out there. And if you're buying something that no one has heard of and has no utility, don't assume it will bounce back just like everything else will. So please, I mean, and I know that shows like this aren't supposed to say that, but we pride ourselves in honesty. Not everything is gonna bounce back. That's the reality. If it's not an established project and someone created it in their basement with their dad's credit card, it's probably not going to do well in February and March like the other tokens. Well, Mr. FOMO, we've got an interesting 48 hours to go. We're going to see how the market reacts. Let's see if we get some positive news. You could see Bitcoin back within to 100K just like that. But hey, keep it here for the very latest. Thank you guys for so much. I know we went a little bit long today, but for Mr. FOMO, it's easy.